Well, Dr. Amna Khan is a consumer analyst from Manchester Metropolitan University and is with us to explain what is going on in the world of retail. Very good evening to you, Dr. Khan. Thanks for joining us. I wonder if you can tell us why, after resisting for so long, do you think Primark decided now to opt for click and collect?
The consumer really wants an experience from a brand, and although Primark is a high street retailer and has traditionally been that, the pandemic has changed consumer behaviour massively, and they have normalised click and collect. Now, in order to improve the overall customer experience, Primark need to offer that to their consumers, and you can see by the way that the website crashed today. There's a massive demand for it, but it also allows them to tap into consumers that might find it difficult to come into store. They've released their brand of click and collect with kids wear, nursery toys and baby wear. Those consumers might find it difficult to get into store. So you're making the process easy. They won't have to wait in queues. They won't have to shop with younger families. And it generally is improving the customer experience in store. But there's three really important reasons why they've gone with click and collect. Now, one of the important reasons is that click and collect actually allows them to bring the consumers back into store. And we know from research that 70% of consumers that click and collect or return an item in store are more enticed to impulse purchasing. So they will add on sales to the click and collect purchases. But a dreaded reason for them to use click and collect as well is because of the returns. It's such a big issue for online retailers.
Yeah,
so
it's expensive too, isn't it, having to pay for it?
Yeah, it's twice as much to actually return online returns versus actually getting it shipped to you. So they're actually reducing that cost for themselves. Now, you have to remember Primark works on very low margins. They are a retailer that positions themselves as a value retailer. So they have less margins to play with initially. So they wouldn't the online full offer.
Yeah, and also we heard today about Joules going through really tough times, the clothing retailer. What do you think's gone wrong for Joules?
Well, I think that Joules really hasn't kept in touch with the consumer and consumer trends. Now, we know the cost of living has resulted in consumers really reining in their spend and budgeting on their spend. But we also know that they sell outerwear and wellies. We've had a really hot summer. We've had seasonal, they wouldn't have had the seasonal demand. But also, they haven't really diversified their products. How many wellies does anybody need? How many outer jackets does anybody need? And they last a lot longer. They're not like disposable fashion or fast fashion where consumers would replace them in the same way. So they've had issues in the sense that demand has dropped off. Consumers are facing cost of living crisis. They're not focusing on non-essential spend. And essentially, Joules is a non-essential spend.
Yeah, and how do you think generally retail is going into this Christmas, Dr. Khan? This is obviously the first normal Christmas, if you like, that we've had for 2 years. There won't be restrictions, queues outside shops, the need for face masks, all that kind of thing. How do you think the high street will fare in this cost of living crisis where, of course, most people have got less money to spend?
I think it's a massively challenging time for retailers at the moment. They've got increased costs of their own. They're looking at business taxes going up in April. The inflation is affecting consumer spend. Consumers are really budgeting, and we've seen that in the way that they spend. They're going into stores with cash. They're actually going into the store because it allows them to budget better than it would to online shop. And we're going to a really challenging time for retailers. This is the time when consumers are expected to spend much more, and I believe that consumers are going to rein it in.
OK, Dr. Amna Khan, really interesting to talk to you tonight. Thank you so much for being with us on The 9.
Thank you.